Guinea fowl are an amazing bird that you can add to your homestead that come with a lot of great benefits, but there's also many negatives to them as well. So let's get into that on this episode of Nature's Always Right with Stephen Cornett. Guinea fowl are native to Africa and very beautiful, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people really like them. That's my first benefit. They have this wonderful polka dot pattern all over their feathers that's really neat. Just like your chickens, they're gonna eat bugs, they're gonna eat ticks, and they're gonna be able to fertilize all over the place. They also integrate extremely well with your chickens. I raised these 6 guinea fowl from chicks, and then I integrated them in with my chicken flock here, my black copper Morans, and they had absolutely no issues being able to do that. They go back to the coop and sleep with them every single night, and that's because I integrated them as babies together, and they have known this coop since being very little. The best benefit that I think guineas are gonna provide for you is an alarm system and help protecting your flock from predators like hawks, cats, and other small animals that might attack your birds. This is also one of their negatives because they are extremely loud, but they're very alert and aware of anything that might be a predator around them. And they have much more aggressiveness than a chicken. They will puff up and run at something that they think is a threat, making a ton of noise, which scares off the animal. If you have chickens, you know that's very different. A chicken, when it's scared, a lot of times will just plop down and sit there and not move, which means they're gonna get killed. So integrating some guineas into your chicken flock can really help give added protection. You also might be able to get some eggs from your guineas, which I hear taste extremely good, which makes sense because they are wonderful free rangers, and they will actually spread out and go even a bit further than your chickens are willing to free range. So they can feed themselves quite a bit from just what is around them. But getting the eggs can be tricky. They are not as apt to lay in your coop and your nesting boxes. They a lot of times are going to find a natural spot out here to lay. And guineas, just like turkeys, are seasonal layers. So in spring, they will lay eggs for a period of time and then they will stop. They also taste extremely good as well. I have 6 guineas right now, but I'm about to go down to 2 when I tell you about the negatives coming up in a little bit and why I'm going to do that. But they are supposed to taste like chickens used to taste. They're gonna have a little bit more gamey flavor, and but they're very similar size to chickens, and if you like eating chicken meat, then guinea meat will be good as well. So what I thought when I wanted to try the guineas was, hey, if they don't work out and they're not my favorite thing, well, I can always put them in the freezer. Now let's get into some of the negatives that I have not liked about the guineas. So number 1, they are very loud. And that hasn't really bothered me too much, but at times they will get annoying, especially if I'm shooting a video and they decide to freak out and fly off somewhere. They're loud, and they will get loud, for a minute or two. If you have people showing up to your farm or animals that they're not used to, that's another reason for them to kind of sound off their alarm, which is what you want and is providing you that great predator protection. So it's a plus and a minus at the same time. The biggest reason that I'm not liking the guineas is that I don't need much predator protection where I am. I really enjoy them, I enjoy watching them, but they are eating a lot of feed and it's costing me money to feed them. So that's probably the biggest reason that I'm gonna cut down on the numbers of guineas that I do have. The animals that I have, I want them to produce an output for me, and while they do produce a lot of good things, I can get the fertilization and some of the benefits that other poultry give me in my laying chickens. And since I don't have a huge predator problem here on my property, the most beneficial thing that they do, which is their alarm system and their aggressiveness, doesn't help me that much. One other negative about them is they're pretty aggressive towards my other chickens. They will kind of chest bump and move chickens out of the way so they can get to the feed first. I've seen them even, attack my chickens a little bit. Chickens will attack each other as well, but the guineas have a higher aggression level, which most of the time they get along just fine with my other chickens. It's just something that I have noticed, but that's a trait, of course, that we're looking for in the guineas so that they can protect. So if you're wondering how you can raise guineas with your chickens, I actually did this very successfully by raising the chicks with my turkeys actually that I have out here, and then I brought them together when they were 6 weeks old. I put them into my bigger coop down here all together, and I held them within that coop for about 4 days and let them acclimate together and get to know each other. And then when I let them out to free range, they had kind of bonded with each other. And ever since then, they have kind of been one more integrated flock. They go around together, they stay together, and they sleep together at night. And it's been many months now at this point, and they have never separated. They keep going back to the same coop. And I show how I do all this in my natural raising chicken course that you guys can sign up for down below. And in this course, I teach you guys a lot of techniques about how to save money and how to give a lot more nutrition to your birds that you actually make yourself through Korean natural farming methods, as well as showing you how to raise chickens from chick, incubating the eggs, everything that you want to know about raising your own chickens at home, whether you're going to do this just for your family or maybe you want to do it for profit someday. Check that out down in the description if you're interested in signing up and becoming a part of our course and community. So as I get ready to butcher some of my guineas tomorrow and my turkey that's actually going to be ours for Thanksgiving, I need to decide which ones to keep. And I want to keep a breeding pair, so one male and one female, so that next spring, maybe they can hatch out more guineas for me that I could sell or then raise out as meat if I really enjoy how the meat tastes. So here are a few ways that you can tell. They are not the easiest birds to tell apart like a rooster and a hen. So there's two main ways, and one of them is the sounds that they make. The females will make a 2-syllable type sound, and the males will make a single-syllable sound like chuck. And then physically, the males will be slightly bigger. The top helmet or the horn is going to be bigger on the males. The wattles, those red skin tags that hang down on the males, are going to be bigger and curve forward and up a little bit more. The females, they'll sit flatter. And the guineas are really cool. They stay as a tribe, I would like to say. And even though they hang out with the chickens a lot, they are still doing their own thing in that group of 6. So even though they go back to the coop at night, when they're out and about, they are always together doing their thing together. And it's really fun to watch them as they run around. They move and act much differently than chickens, and they can just add a lot of value to your homestead. So I do recommend that you try them out and see if you like them for yourself, especially if you do have predator issues with hawks or cats. Things like this, I think that it could provide a lot of benefit for you. Check out my natural chicken raising course if you want to learn how you could raise your own guineas or chickens and turkeys, how to brood them out and raise them into full-fledged adult birds.